Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode here on Football Heritage, here with your host, Stephen Clark. So today, as you can tell by the thumbnail on the video, we're going to be reviewing the 2021 AFL Draft, and in particular, we're going to be talking about my side, the Melbourne Demons, and kind of how I think that we have done in this draft. So, as I kind of touched on in my video yesterday, it was kind of a bit of a hectic draft. We did know going into it that there were going to be a lot of kind of sliders and a lot of bolters, and I think tonight has really doubled down on that. There were a lot of players who were tipped to go kind of in the top 10 to 15, even to the top 20, that have kind of slid right down into the 40s even. So it's been a really strange draft. I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with the lack of football and the consistent games that the scouts have been able to see from these players. You know, they might know something that we don't. So at the end of the day, the draft is quite literally a lottery. So we'll have to wait and see how some of these players develop. But my initial reactions as a Melbourne fan are that we've done really well out of this draft. Specifically going into it right before the draft season, before the trade season, we didn't have a first round pick. So to pick up Jacob van Ruin last night was really good, and it just shows how well the club consistently do at getting back into that first round. And I think it's something that has done really well for us, because we have a really good squad at the moment, but it is always important to keep topping up and, to keep kind of picking up mercurial talents, that can kind of go on and develop and sort of grow in this winning, successful environment that the club is building. So let's talk about Jacob van Ruin. So it's mentioned him a little bit yesterday, but so he's a kind of known as a bit of a swingman at the moment. He's played a lot in key defence and as a key forward in the Waffle League for the Claremont Tigers. So pretty local to me in WA, which is great to see. It's been a happy picking ground for Melbourne of recent years, so I'm glad to see that kind of trend continue. Obviously, there's a lot of talent coming through WA this year, just given the fact that the WA boys have been able to play a lot more games. So he's 194 centimeters, 88 kilograms. So he's kind of a big, robust boy, key forward kind of style, height. And interesting enoughly, we have heard from Jason Jason Richardson about the player, and he has stated that he sees the player as a key forward. So ultimately, that is where the club kind of see his future going, which is really encouraging. I think towards the end of his season, we saw a lot more of that kind of key forward work. I think he scored something like 24 goals in his last 6 games, or something to that measure. So really encouraging statistics there, and I think a really smart pickup, because I think he probably would have gone fairly reasonably early, being kind of an exciting key forward prospect. They tend to not last very long. So really great there to see Jacob van Ruin on screen, and can't wait to welcome him to the Demons. And hopefully, hopefully he can break into the side. His competition is strong, obviously, but it is aged, and I think that I'd expect to see him get some games coming into this season. I think that we've seen some injuries affect this side. We've seen a lack of confidence affect Ben Brown at times, even though he did seem to find form towards the end of the season, and was really great in the finals run in. But yeah, I'd be really excited about Jacob's prospects here. So moving on to our second pick, it was Blake Howes. So this pick just absolutely blew my mind, because I did pick Jacob van Ruin, and I am happy to say that I did pick more out of hope that we would get Blake Howes as well. But I did not, in my wildest dreams, actually expect us to go and land this guy. Mostly because I just expected him to go a lot earlier in the draft. As soon as I saw that we had chosen van Ruin, I thought, okay, well, probably goes our chances to get Blake Howes there. I thought he would go a mere handful of picks later, but he managed to slide all the way right down to that pick 39, I believe we picked him up at. So that's really great value. This guy's a really exciting as well. He's 190 centimeters, 79 kilograms. He's played for the Sandy Dragons, outside midfielder. He's also played as a tall forward. Great hands on this guy. He's known as a really sort of electric capacity sort of player, and he's also yeah, he's just kind of he will offer a lot, I think, on the wing initially. That's where Richardson has said that he sees him sort of potentially having his best position role in the side. So that'll be exciting, as we did have obviously that injury to Jaden Hunt during the season, and we've seen that, you know, Langdon can run a lot, and, you know, Brayshaw is kind of a makeshift winger, but if we could get, you know, we could get some backup in there as well, it'd be great just to kind of top up the side. So hopefully we see a fair bit of Blake Howes as well. I think he's a guy who's got a lot of potential and an absolute steal for the Melbourne Football Club at pick 39. And finally, we wrap up with Taj Woewodin. So obviously the father-son prospect, we expected Melbourne to take him, and he was the last pick of the second night of the draft. So exciting news for us there, and really obviously for the Woewodin family in general. Great, great news for Shane, obviously a Brownlow medalist at the club. So Taj himself, he's been playing at East Fremantle as sort of like a utility midfielder. He wasn't seen as someone as like particularly high prospect initially, but he's been a real bolter in the last part of the season, and he's put in some great performances for East Freo. And also he was known at the Combine as sort of a bit of a star player there. You know, I think he ranked like second overall for like 20-meter sprints. So definitely fast, definitely got some agility to him. And from everyone that speaks about his personality, it seems like he's a real go-getter, and, you know, someone that whatever he might lack in kind of maybe initial talent, he'll more than make up for in character and determination and leadership and all these kinds of qualities that are almost unmeasurable to some extent. But it seems that Melbourne have seen maybe a spark there, and hopefully he can go and have a great career in the AFL with Melbourne Football Club, but that'll be yet to be seen. So overall, really, really great pickups for the Melbourne Football Club. We also managed to get a pick swap in there at around the back end of the draft, meaning we picked up a round 4 future from Port Adelaide, I believe. Just accumulating some more picks for next year. Maybe the strategy will be, as we don't have a first round pick, to kind of bundle up some picks and maybe make a trade or move up again next year. We'll have to see what the club's kind of vision and assessment of next year's talent is. But for this year, they've done absolutely amazingly well coming into the season without a draft pick in the first round. It's come out with 3 players that I think initially the club would have been very, very happy to select, specifically Blake Howes at pick 39, an absolute steal. So really looking forward to seeing these boys integrate into the side, and to hopefully seeing them play some footy next season would be absolutely fantastic. You know, we've had a great kind of history with playing these guys in their first season. Obviously, look no further than Jake Bowie. Yeah, so really happy with that, guys. And yeah, obviously Melbourne Football Club being my side, I was really excited to talk about sort of what I thought about the picks. But if any of you guys are watching that maybe support different clubs, let me know down in the comments if you'd like me to kind of review your team's draft, and we can have a conversation about that. I think a lot of teams had a really good draft, specifically teams like Fremantle, even Geelong to some extent, and, you know, there are a whole bunch of other teams, St Kilda as well. So yeah, let me know in the comments, guys, if you want to see kind of more reviews of this style, or anything else that you want to see from me.